expect that from the start of our sharing, unless someone has appeared here for the first time, to be knowing what to do before we come here, and we are very energetic. It's a beautiful Tuesday. I'm glad to be here once again and partake our journeys to the health of ourselves, Ugandans, Africans, and the world at large. Remember, it begins with exactly. You cannot share what you do not have. You can't give what you don't have. You must be healthy first, the rest will follow. It doesn't matter. I normally challenge some of my colleagues who I see, certainly they are not living the gospel they preach. Yeah? So you must live the gospel you preach. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, you will not forgive yourself when that one day you have dementia, you are aging with dementia. You know dementia? You are aging with, actually, this one comes even before you age. You have amnesia. Those are the terms we are going to be using today. You know amnesia? You have your phone here, you can't remember that you have the phone here, and you start looking and yet the phone is just here with you. Yeah? So today, we are going to look at something very important. Very important. And once that part of your body is crippled or gets some issues, then the rest of your life is apart. There is always a debate on which is the most important body part. Some will say the brain, others will say the heart. But before you know, there is a kidney. But before you know, there is liver. Before you know, there are private parts. Before you know, there is an eye. Before you know, there is a nose. Before you know, there is but there is always a debate which is the most important body part. Yeah? But today we are going to look at that most important body part. Have you ever heard when people, I think you can all remember when the Honorable Zake was, sorry, not Zake, the late Honorable Segirinya was announced dead, and then they said, no, it's not yet dead, but I think the heart is still pumping, though the brain seems to have shut down. You heard that story? Yes. So you can, once your brain is off, it doesn't matter whether the heart is still pumping, it doesn't matter whether the kidney is still okay, once your body cell, the brain cells die, these other parts, it doesn't matter how good they are. Yeah? But when the brain is still okay, if you have ever been, or if you've ever had someone who is a close relative and they have passed on they have died when you're seeing, you will see doctors opening the eye, touching like this, to see whether the eyes can still react to light. You have ever seen that? They are trying to see whether the brain is still functioning. For as long as the brain is still functioning, we can always try to bring back these other organs. We can try to bring back the heart. That's why you will see when they are doing what we call the CPR, as trying to press on your heart to bring it back. We can do the dialysis on your kidneys to bring them back. We can see, for as long as this is still functioning very well, these other parts, we can always struggle to bring them back. Or even when one is not functioning, the others, we can find machines to support them. Like the kidneys can be supported by dialysis when they have completely shut down. But this one, there is nothing that can support it. When it is gone, when brain cells are dead there, and in the body, the brain cells are the fastest dying cells in the body. That is why when your heart shuts down, they have to ensure it comes back as soon as possible. Reason being, the brain, when brain cells stop receiving oxygen, and of course oxygen is delivered within blood, yeah? So the heart is the one that pumps blood to the brain. When you see them fighting to bring back your heart, is to ensure this brain receives blood as fast as possible and oxygen, because once it stops receiving, even within seconds, it has already started dying. It dies as faster as you can't imagine, in seconds. So you constant supply of oxygen and blood with nutrients to the brain, very important. And those are the things that we're going to look at that can ensure your brain health is always at par. Yeah? Before even the cells die, there are some aspects that can die. Like we have already talked about the memory bit of it, you cannot remember. Yeah? You easily forget. Yeah? So, that is going to be our focus of today. Very important. Yeah? Are we together? Yes. Perfect. So, as we agreed that this is what we shall be doing, we have to first look at those things that we can do. Yeah? Right from home, every day, and then we shall look at the other parts that, okay, we cannot fulfill, and then the reason why we are here comes in. The reason why you exist as a distributor of category-based products comes in. But before we dive there, I want us to first look at these things here. Some of these are not new. Yeah? Most of the things that we are going to share today, our session of today is going to be that brief, because most of the things we have looked at somehow. Yeah? So I will only emphasize key things. We have talked about Mediterranean diet. Yeah? We have talked about it. Why it has that word Mediterranean? It is because of especially this, yeah, this, the olive oil and the fish. It is what makes it. Without those two, you can find the categories of these, the whole grains, vegetables and fruits in any other type of diet. But what makes it special is this and this. Okay? The fish and the olive oil makes the Mediterranean diet complete. Yes? It is important for our brain health. Especially, that is why if you have someone who you are helping them on their mental health, as you do our most important product, Super Focus, you also need to add them with clap for yourselves, those who have said omega-3. Yes, omega-3. Now, like I already mentioned, that this brain needs supply of blood 24/7 and in reasonable amounts. Every cell must receive. That is why the omega-3 helps ensure that these blood vessels, even the tiny ones, remain patent. patent, I mean they remain as wide as enough, as capable to have blood go through smoothly as enough to ensure the brain keeps receiving what? You have heard when people they say they have stroke. There are many types of stroke, but one of the types of the stroke, we call it ischemic, meaning blood has been cut off from supplying a certain part of the brain. And when blood is cut off, that means now that brain part is going to die. And that brain part that has died, you know, this brain coordinates the whole of the other rest of the body. Some part which will die, it may die and then it will cause like this arm not to function completely. If it is a bigger portion, then the whole of this side dies. Yeah? Because that part of the brain could not receive blood on the occasion of the ischemic stroke. Because the brain blood vessels did what? So that will help us. So diet assisting to stop hypertension, DASH diet. I decided to use those terms because I know you're going to interact with them, and some people will want to tease you. Some people want to tease you there in the field. They were asking, but for me, you know, my doctor told me to use a DASH diet, and then you're like, DASH diet. Diet assisting to stop hypertension. That is what when you put that in full. So that is also important. Now that, what makes it a DASH diet? This is number one, raw in sodium. Because we all know, or we have heard that salt can cause hypertension. Because salt, what salt does to the body, holds too much water. Holds too much water in the body that is going to put too much overload. Too much overload for the heart and for the blood vessels. And we are going to end up having too much blood pressure. Now, how do you ensure that you have a DASH diet? We are talking about portions. This is very important. Today, many people consume too much salt. You find if you're supposed to take 10 grams per day, you end up taking like 50 grams a day. And this comes in most cases when it is not conscious. You do not know. How does it happen? You're going to jump on bread. Bread has salt. Even, by the way, even when you're seemingly, let's say, eating healthier, you may take too much salt. Jump on bread, even if it is a whole grain bread, you have to have salt. Some people prepare rice and they put salt. And I'm always asking people, sauce has salt. Why are you putting salt in rice? You're eating a sweet potato along with the other food, it also has salt. Pumpkin you're eating has salt. Vegetables you're eating have cassava you're eating on breakfast has salt. You're eating maybe pumpkin seeds have, peanuts roasted maybe for breakfast have. So at the end of the day, you're taking too much salt. And actually, almost 90% of people who have hypertension today, it is directly linked to too much salt. Of course, in combination with other things like too much fat. So if you add too much fat and salt, that's why someone in the village today, you find someone in the village and he's saying, but for me, Syria masafu ngabe Kampala lwaki ndwara pressure. You get it? So salt is one. So the DASH diet, very important. Why is this important for brain health? Because if there is too much, if you have pressure, at the end of the day, you're likely to have small blood vessels in the brain can easily burst. And when they burst, even before you reach that extent, you will every time be having headaches. Ladies, first clap hands. almost every lady suffers from headache. Ladies, almost every lady suffers from headache. Why? Ladies, you like somehow too much salt than men. Two, you snack so much, and on snacks, it is where much salt is propagated. So you end up taking too much salt, and it causes all those problems. Nordic diet. There are countries called Nordic countries. Nordic countries, the likes of Norway, the likes of Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Switzerland. Those are the Nordic countries. So, by the way, the Nordic people are considered to be one of those healthy people. In the European side, they are better than these other ones from Britain, from France, and the likes, because they too, they like much of fruits, vegetables, fish, canola oil. Then their meats, I know they like much of, what do they call the sheep's meat? Mutton. Yes. We all know that yes, mutton has too much fat, but their mode of preparation for that meat lowers its fat, and it is healthy for them. They use this oil. It's more or less like olive oil. It is also a healthy one, but we rarely have that here. Mind diet. Now, mind diet, it combines the Mediterranean diet and the Dutch diet. We remember what the Dutch and what the Mediterranean is. Yeah? So it is, the Mediterranean is more specifically for the mind health, then the Dutch for preventing hypertension. The combination of the two, even if you just concentrated on just only that, you would have a super healthy mind.
Excuse me, sir. Before we go further, would you please remind me what dash means?
I hope you're taking super focus. I hope. I hope you're taking super focus. We said dash, diet, assisting to stop hypertension. In simple terms, diet assisting to stop hypertension. Dash, in simple terms.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Asian plant-based diets. Now, most Asian countries depend much on fish. Most Asian countries depend much on fish. When we say plant-based, we are only trying to bring out most especially this, whole grains, then green leafy vegetables, green tea, mushrooms. Does anyone know or has ever seen any seaweed? Any seaweed? Seaweed. Oruzungu, seaweed. Seaweed. You know a sea? You know weed? Seaweed. Ruzungu. Seaweed. There are certain weeds that grow under the sea, underwater in those big oceans. Yeah? Now, I've seen people who are selling those seaweeds around. Those weeds are known to have nutrients, especially the what we call the mineral elements. They are very rich in mineral elements like calcium, like zinc, like magnesium. So those seaweeds are known to help on cognitive health, or they help on brain impairment, or they can help to lower the risks. Now, we cannot emphasize omega-3. The fact that we do not have, the fact that here we may not get salmon, we may not get mackerel, that is why we are going to find ourselves wanting our omega-3 as a supplement. Today is not for omega-3, but it goes hand in hand, like we already mentioned. That is why you're going to find for even women, if you're planning to get pregnant, or if you're already pregnant here, you need to take the omega-3. Reason being, it helps, especially at a stage of 4 months and above, when the child's brain starts to develop. Are we together? It is very, very, very important. I have always told people that you can change what is known of your generation. Ewamwe nga tebakola science ezi, ewamwe baba bagamba tewali asoma kutuuka mu senior 4. You can change that with food, because this will enable you to produce a child who is intelligent, because it will enable the brain of the child to grow sufficiently, and ultimately you will produce a brilliant child. There used to be this saying that oli omutwe gw'ekyennyanja obeera ki? Abantu bedda balinamu science. Yeah? They had that science somehow. That even if it is our usual fish, somehow that head would give you some bit of the nutrients to enable brain growth. Walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, we know these ones. Those have some traces of omega-3, but not as salmon, not as mackerel. But at least, if you're taking your supplement, you can also look at those foods. Why are we talking about this? Yet, today, our main focus of the product is not omega-3. Reason being that they are complementary elements always to other things. Like I said, I told you that a discussion I had with the CEO was to ensure that how best do we help and boost the trust in our products. You would give, or you're likely to give someone, let's say Superfocus, who has maybe has amnesia, for example, and you're giving them Superfocus, or they have dementia, But because you have not added omega-3, and they may fail to respond. And you know what happens? They are going to blame your product that the product doesn't work. It's like even if you gave someone good fuel, but their engine somehow is dirty, they will still blame your fuel, yet their engine had a problem. Or if their battery cannot start. Antioxidants. We know the sources of antioxidants when it comes to food. We have talked about this several times. Why are they important? They protect the brain from oxidative stress. So many fruits, especially the blueberries, strawberries, they are important. Dark chocolate as well. So many other foods that you can get antioxidants. Last time we talked about this, the vitamin B's, B vitamins. We talked about this, especially because of this, because of energy. Yes, they are crucial in neurotransmission. What does that mean? You see, like, I would decide to raise my hand up like this. When I tell my brain that you're going to raise your hand up, the brain sends the message through neurons, or call them nerves. Yeah? Along that process of that message being sent, yeah, there are certain chemicals that will be moving from one to the other to cause this movement. So if you have a challenge with neurotransmission, yeah, if you have a challenge with neurotransmission, that's when you'll find someone, it is hard for them to move the leg, yeah? Somehow even, others will even start getting, should I call them twinges? You have even uncoordinated moves. Your muscles can start moving uncoordinatedly, like not coordinating very well. So, vitamin B's, we already know where to get them. We already, for B12, it is from animal products. Then the B6, folate, those ones you can get them from the green leaf vegetables. This is always an issue. Healthy fats. What is a healthy fat? Some people here you'll find where they're arguing and telling, but they say the pork is also white meat. We can enjoy it, it's white meat. But they say there is a big discussion on what are healthy fats and what are not healthy fats. There are terms, I know you read them when you're trying to do your search. Monosaturated, polyunsaturated. So healthy fats are the fats which they call unsaturated. Unsaturated. Now, what is saturation? Why are they unsaturated? That is now called biochemistry. But to give you a hint, those fats, they have a structure that combines, that brings them together to stay as a fat as you see them. You know, there are fats and oils. What's the difference? Oils are always liquid, fats are solids. Now, those fats that are called unsaturated, we say for them, their structure somehow, it's like not complete with the, we call them hydrogen bonds that brings them together like this. It's not complete, meaning they are unsaturated. Saturation means something is full. Someone can say, this room is saturated with air. Saturated with bad air, it means it is full with bad air. Yeah? Someone will say, I'm feeling saturated. Meaning I am feeling full. So these ones are not full with the other structures, with the other hydrogen bonds that bring them, that keep them as fat. Now, does that matter? Yes, it matters. Why? Because they have some bit of spaces. For them, they can be easily broken down. Yeah, they can be easily broken down, used or turned into other forms and get rid of. Then the saturated fats, that is the unhealthy fats, those ones zikuturamu, those ones that are got from red meats, yeah, zikurachi, zikuturamu, and they will end up blocking your blood vessels, including the small vessels of the brain, the vessels, small vessels of the heart. There are two organs which are always very sensitive when it comes to their small vessels. The heart and the brain, they always need their small vessels, patent to supply those cells and the muscles. Well, there is also another issue there between what is a protein. Because we all know that when we eat meats, that is the protein. But sometimes we end up going for fat instead of protein. That is why there is another term called lean protein. Lean protein, meaning it is off. It doesn't have what? Fat. And that's what you should be eating. Yeah? But in most cases, we end up, instead of going for protein, we end up going for fat, which is bad. So because those proteins, we need them because they are important for building the neurotransmitters we talked about already. Are we together? Now, if you lack the protein, what will happen? And you don't have the neurotransmitters built, what will happen? We are talking about mood. Cognition is, when we talk about cognition, the cognitive functions, that's where we come in with memory, ability to learn, ability to unlearn. You get it? It is all under cognition. For mood, you know. And by the way, that is why these days, because people are taking unhealthy fats, which can easily cause too much of oxidation, people can easily get stressed. People can easily get irritated. People can easily get angered. You will say something small to your friend and you hear them slapping you. Something small, someone wants to kill the other. People from Mbarara, I read some bad news. A sister in Ro, someone's wife was killed by a sister in Europe. You wonder how people get anger, where people get their anger. You get it? But it's all around this. People can easily get irritated. That's why you think people killing themselves now and again. Yeah? People jump onto drugs. But I can tell you, if your mood is okay, it doesn't matter which problems you're going through. If your mood, if your cognition means you can easily comprehend things. Yeah? If your brain is okay, you can easily comprehend things. Today, if you're totally broke, you'll say, well, I think I'm broke maybe because I didn't manage to do business very well. What do I need to do? You're not going to think of going and stealing. Yeah? If you're a lady, you're not think of looking for a sugar daddy. You get it? Because your brain can work very well and say, okay, this is where I went wrong. This is what I need to do right. And maybe you can easily understand, no, this is not a permanent, situation. I will overcome, you know? But if this is impaired and you have a bad mood, you can do anything. And people will be saying you're bewitched. Start blaming your grandfathers and disturbing them from wherever they are resting well. Complex habits, we have talked about this several times. So, Even if I don't talk about this, the whole grains and everything, I've talked about this. This is underrated. Hydration. And I will still talk about ladies. Ladies. Most ladies don't like water. Most ladies. Amazzi gabakola ki? Naddala nnyo mmwe ab'e Kampala. What did water do to you? Abasinga bagalina, they have like, you raise your flask. She has something like that. That has how many meals? Around, okay. If feeding, probably 500, and she will claim that she drinks, I take water, I finish this whole bottle. The bottle she's talking about is just 500 meals. Unless water killed your grandfathers, but please, water. I normally give an analogy of a car. We all know a car, yeah? There is one thing that I know there are some people here who even don't know that a car depends on water. I know many of you here may be there, you don't know that a car depends on water. When you think about fuel. But make a mistake and drive the car when there is no water. What will happen to the engine? It will heat up, and then what happens when it heats up? There's a term they use which is called knocking. The engine will knock, and you lose the whole engine. Now, water, that's how serious water important it is to our body. You can eat well, you can supplement with whatever, even if you're touching on focus on reverse flow, you touch on everything, even Clinton. But once you're not taking enough water, you're getting it wrong. And now for the brain, there's what we call brain fog. Now, why would you have brain fog? Water helps us to get rid of the toxins that our body generates. Every time you're living as the way you are seated here right now, listening to me, your brain is functioning, the whole body is functioning, and some of the nutrients you already took in are being broken down to give you energy, to support you, to keep you alert. Yeah? As those nutrients are being broken down to keep you alert, they are what we call, I will use a local word, they are like residues or the byproducts of these nutrients that are being broken down. Now, those ones, the water you drink is what helps these things to be cleared off and you urinate them. That's why your urine is going to have the color, it has that smell. Yeah? It is the water you took in plus the colors you're seeing and the smell. It is those nutrients that were broken down. Now, if you don't take in much water, these things are going to remain in the body. Now, the brain is so sensitive. These things, those byproducts, when they remain in your brain, it is going to cause the brain fog. Brain fog is like kubera ungatobitegeera wenolinga wakazuka kumacha, but it's like as if you have worked 48 hours minus resting. Tobitegeera. Why? You have too much byproducts that you need to get out. And it is only water, only and only water that is going to help you get out these byproducts. Now, some think that I'm going to consume maybe a soda, that the soda has water. Well, the soda has water, but instead it is going to be adding on. So it's better to take real water, plain water. Or, for those who have issues with taking plain water, this is the idea. It can be some herbal tea. You can do, those who do not have ulcers, you can put some lemon, you can do some ginger, you can do some cucumber, yeah? and take that water with, when it has some bit of taste. It's not that plain. When you do that, I have no problem with you. And anyways, it will even add more benefit. For example, if you're doing it with lemon, you're adding to yourself more vitamin C, which is going to as well help as an antioxidant. And actually, for me, what I do lemon and ginger. Every morning, even when you see me here this morning, I had to get 1 lemon and a cup of warm water. Lemon and a cup of warm water. I drink that. I normally actually take that as I'm doing my ironing. When I've not ironed the previous day, when I'm doing my ironing, that's when I'm taking that cup of warm water. And trust me, my mind will be very clear. I'll be feeling full like I had a heavy breakfast. But I'm saying that is to someone who doesn't have ulcers. If you have ulcers, lemon will not be your idea. But you have other things. You can do some cinnamon, you can do some moringa, yeah? Or you can do the cucumber. Yes? You want to put watermelon in warm water? Okay. We have already talked about this. Yeah? We have already talked about this. I think, let me just go through a little bit. Eating consistently 3 to 5 hours, maintaining stable blood sugar. Now, by the way, fasting is good. Intermittent fasting is good. Yeah? But sometimes you realize if you didn't, let's say, when you broke the other fast, you didn't take in much nutrients that are supposed to make you run the whole day, yeah? Then actually, your mood is going to affect your mood. It's going to affect your mental health. That is why it is good for you to be having every after 3 to 5 hours. It can be 4 hourly, it can be 3 hourly. You have something you're eating to supply you with sugar. Of course, it should be healthy snacking. Not you're thinking of snacking, you're jumping on crisps. We have already talked about that you should include fatty fish at least. This is hard for you. You will not get the fatty fish. That's why you will need. Today we have done 2 things, by the way. Then, a variety of colorful fruits. Why do we talk about colorful fruits? Colorful fruits, that color is not just merely color. Yeah? That color is not merely color. The color, we call it phytochemicals. Those colors you see in fruits and in vegetables, they are phytochemicals, which are good as what? As antioxidants. It's not merely just color. We already talked about whole grains, snacking. We have already talked about this so many times. Stay well hydrated. We talked about consumption of dark chocolate. Okay. Let's talk briefly about this. Sleep. That is another thing that is underrated. Ladies, you're supposed to sleep at least 8 hours. Men, at least 6 hours. Uninterrupted. Go to bed, switch off your phone, put that phone away from your bed. Don't sleep with your phone. That is very dangerous. Don't sleep with your phone. When you go to bed, some people say, me, it's a sitting at row, I can't sleep. But someone who is telling you that row, they go to bed and keep on phone. So they think magic should happen. The brain should somehow find itself sleep. When you go on phone or you watch and you expect your brain to, you're sabotaging the whole process. You need to switch lights, take away the phone. Even if I want to see someone who tell me that for them they lack sleep and they will go on bed, lights off, they are not on phone, and then they close their eyes like this, and then they will stay 3 hours when they have not got sleep. I want to see someone, if you're there and you're here, please come for free consultation. If you're here, for you can switch off your phone, switch off lights, put the phone aside, and close your eyes, covering yourself. Then you still stay awake for 3 hours without sleep. Please, you are in trouble. Come for free consultation. Because if you don't sleep, it's going to distort your hormones. And once your hormones are distorted, you can never have good mental health. Everything will be affected. Oh, we have already talked about olive oil for cooking or avocado oil. Then snacks, that we can't emphasize it any better. Managing stress. Our generation is hit with stress pandemic than any other, because there are so many things that will stress us. Yeah? iPhone 15 will come, and then someone will be stressed because they don't have iPhone 15. Yeah? Yes. Someone will buy a high heel and their friend, they will admire someone's high heel and they will get stressed. Someone will look at the other one and like this and say, but the other one seems to have bigger nyash like me, and she will get stressed. So, and you know, I will still talk to the ladies. You know, I love ladies so much. Yes. I was telling, one lady was telling me, you see, I'm stressed. I'm saying, you're not stressed, you're just confused. And some of them mistaken. Some of us mistaken confusion and stress. You're confused and then you claim you're stressed. So, you can go and search about how to meditate. That I will not tell you how to do that. Journaling, walking. Walking, there are things that we don't value, that if it is a weekend like that on a Sunday, leave the TV, leave that movie. Some of you will watch the horror movie and even the stress increases. At night you're the whole night. Walk around, see the cars, appreciate beauty, see those that are driving the good cars and get motivated. Yeah? See someone who has a nice skin and you also get motivated and you're like, but okay? See someone who is working with their family and if you're single, get motivated to get married. Yes? So go out and appreciate nature. Go to a supermarket and do window shopping. Yeah? Look at beautiful things and you're like, find the reason. Now it will give you meaning of life and reasons why you should even do more if it comes to working. Like, I need this. You can even go to car bonds and look at those new cars and you're like, but I think I need this one. Yes, I think I need this one. Other than locking yourself in that small room and you start watching horror movies and fiction which doesn't exist and you get fear for nothing, your heart is racing, you're like, hey. Physical activity, We talk about this so many times. Exercise. You come in a taxi, it drops you here, in the evening you again take the same taxi from there, or a border, or even if you're driving, even at the gate, they open for you the gate. My brother, my sister, you're not living good life. You're actually living life that is drawing you closer to your grave. Yeah? Get out and exercise. If you can't go to the gym, you can do exercises from home, just within your bed. Go to the internet, they can tell you, they can show you exercises you can do within there are even exercises you can do in bed when you're sleeping. This one is thinking about other exercises. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm not talking about those ones, but they are also good. They are also good if you're sure that you're doing the exercises in a garden that is well sanitized. Practice gratitude and self-reflection. This is also another thing to reduce stress. Practicing gratitude. Look at yourself, appreciate where you have come from, what you are. Some of you are like me, you come from deeper villages where you would spend the whole day running with baboons and chimpanzees, but you're now here in Kampala. So first appreciate that fact is important, that you're here in Kampala. Many of your classmates you studied with primary are in the village there. When they see you, they are like, sir, they even salute you. So feel grateful that you are where you are. That will enable you to feel motivated to do other things and move forward. Now, we come for the reason of us being super focused. When you see all we have talked about, yeah? We have already actually cited challenges that are there. You're supposed to exercise, but you reach home late because there is jam. You already tired, time for sleeping has clocked in, you sleep. In the morning, by the time you wake up, you have to beat jam. For someone who sleeps in Gayaza, for them to be here by 8, they have to wake up at least by 5. By 5, they have to wake up, take a taxi. So, time for self-care is limited in the modern world. Yeah? Time for self-care is very limited in the modern world. We looked at all those things that you need to eat. Finding them is another hassle. Finding the safe foods is another hassle. Buying those foods, some are expensive. If you go to the supermarket and find salmon, you will find it in some supermarkets. Salmon fish. You're going to look at it. Fish you can eat once and you're like, it is better if I will come and probably buy a supplement that probably I will be taking for the whole month. Yeah? So, looking at all of those challenges that encounter us in the modern world, that's why now we need to supplement. Remember that word is an English word. You're adding on to. So looking at everything we have talked about, you come and add on our super focus. Now, someone may ask, why do I even need to have a good memory? Why do I even have to focus? Yeah? Like we have already said, in a modern world, there are so many things that we need to think about. Yeah? If you're single, as you're here thinking about money, you also think about what kind of lady or what kind of man you want. Yeah? As you're here thinking about how to make money, then at home they will call you, there is this that has happened. Yeah? As you're here thinking about this, someone who, if you have some bit of politics in you, you're thinking about her, Narukora has been disqualified. That one also disturbs you. As you're here, there is someone talked about Arsenal. that person has failed to get you. Then for Man U, those ones. So, I mean, issues are too much. Before you know it, you have this girlfriend, probably you're planning to go and to even do a surprise, a surprise birthday for them, or maybe, or even did a surprise birthday yesterday for them. The next day, you did a surprise birthday on Friday. On Saturday, you're going to see her on someone's status. Congratulations when they have introduced them somewhere. And now stress comes in. Yeah? For the mature gentleman like him, before you know it, someone says, but your nose does not look like this one of your son. You need to do a DNA. He goes to do a DNA. Out of 5 children, 3 are not his. So we have so many issues in the modern world. And therefore, this blame needs things to help, because it is counteracting too much of distractions, stressors. So that is why we are going to need something to enhance our focus and boost our memory. Because we have too much to learn, too much to forget, too much to remember, too much to think about in this modern world. And that's why, and remember, even when we have that too much, our foods, the environment we are living in, like I have explained the other side, can no longer give us that. And that's why the whole idea of supplementation comes in, right? And for this case, for our mental health, to ensure that your mood is okay, even when someone looks at you like me and he says you are short, I will not get angry. Now like me, you say you're short, I will not get angry because my mood is, yes. Even if it was to stress me, to annoy me, because my brain can receive enough blood, can receive enough nutrients, I just smile at it. Yeah? Someone looks at you and says you are dark and you get annoyed. Someone says, but if your brain is insufficient of nutrients that can help to stabilize your mood, then you're likely to get annoyed at small things. Yeah? So we are going to look at focus, super focus. Remember, this is from all organic nutrients from plants. Yeah? Entirely from plants. Organic, 100% organic. I don't know, the person who made this had also the same sort as me. He didn't use a gentleman, he had to put a lady. Ladies, I hope the ambassador of this product is a lady. Is it true? The ambassador of this product should be a lady. Should be a lady. Now, there is something that many of us have suffered from: attention deficit disorders. Attention deficit disorder, sometimes it is accompanied by hyperactivity disorder. You're starting to do this, you jump off to this one. You are in Okata Wellness. The other day, you think, but I think here, money is not coming. You run to the other company. From the other company, you reach there, you're like, You don't give attention. You're here. Before you know it, you listen to me for 1 minute. Before you know it, you go to TikTok. You plug in your headset. Let me tell you, for someone who doesn't have that attention deficit disorder, even if, we used to have, even today they are there, because I know here there will be even someone who will say, this man is boring. Now if you're one of them who says I bore, please get super focused. You know why? You know why? Because when you have good attention to something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it is. Even a class in the teacher, like a teacher in class, it doesn't matter how, whether they are, you don't need to learn, to learn something. You don't need to be entertained. Once you need entertainment to learn, you are a candidate of attention deficit disorder. So this product is going to help you to get rid of that, such that you improve your focus and reduce on that hyperactivity, that you don't have to want to multitask, do things at a go, you don't finish them, you run to the other. And many of our children have this issue. You get it? Many of our children have this issue. Anxiety and stress. We have already talked about this. Something small like this, you are off. You are like, I'm stressed. You get confused easily. So this is going to help us reduce or modulate one of the hormones called cortisol. It's going to help and regulate that. Then you always exhibit calmness. Even if you are someone, even if someone slaps you, before you react to slap them back, you think, but first of all, I'm energetic than this person. Me, I am a Muchiga. If I slap back at this one, I'm going to remove all the G's. So let me, and I do not have money to go to pay back. So you keep peace. But if you don't have that, before someone does that for you, already slap them. As they do this for you, already slap them. Cognitive impairment, we have already talked about this. Common illness and fatigue. Now, this product does not stop only on the brain. By the way, even when your brain is impaired, your immune system dysfunctions. Your immune system dysfunctions because the neurotransmitter chemicals play an important role in boosting the immunity. We have already talked about brain fog. Now, I know you have, you are familiar with this. You're familiar with, you have read through this. We have already talked about all this. Designed to enhance cognitive function, focus, memory, mental clarity. All of these things are actually pointing to one thing, that your brain should be sharp. That's the word we normally use. The other guy is sharp. When they say someone is sharp, that means you tell them something, they can easily think through it and act accordingly and promptly. Act accordingly and promptly, meaning they will come up with a right decision and respond as faster as they can. If someone tells you right now, you know what, this has happened, immediately you are able, you don't even switch off the phone to say, I know many of you do that. Then you're like, someone will call you, you're still on the phone, you say, okay, that's what has happened is, do A, B, C, D. There's nothing like Again, our ladies are the ones who like to say, I will think about it. Ladies, when you take super focus, you have outright answers to these younger men here and gentlemen. You either tell them a no when it is a no or a yes when it is a yes. You tell them the right answer. immediately. Now, this product is for school-going children and adults. That is 4 years. 4 years, someone has started going to the school, baby or nursery 1 or 2, 4 years. So for school-going children, we all know the reasons as to why. We need them to focus, yeah? We need them not to get stressed, yeah? For the adults, we know the reasons. We need mental clarity in everything we do, yeah? Younger men don't just need to look at the nyash and get confused and forget about other things. If you have mental clarity, when you look at the lady, the nyash only will not confuse you. Yeah? You'll be able to think about other things. Yeah? And the ladies, when you look at this younger man, you don't only look at the longer beard or the car, but you also think about and you're like, but this man, you add up so many dots and know what to do. So what makes it special? That it has right herbs, right vitamins, right extracts, which promote the cognitive health, reduce stress, and enhance the performance. That's what makes super focus important. The nutrients, the vitamins, and those extracts in there, they are the ones you will be eating in food. But the fact that you spend the whole day here, and the food you're going to eat here down, or in one day, it's not going to have this. It's not. Yeah? Once in a while you may eat that food that is healthy on the weekend. That is if you're not single like me, you don't have someone to help you prepare or reason with you. So that reason enough, yourself, and especially now for you, yourselves, this should be in your handbag all the time. Because, trust me, I know you do. There's a term they call it, I'm forgetting the term. When you prospecting, perfect. Clap for her. She must be taking super focus very well. Because she can just click. You do prospecting. So when you're prospecting, one thing you need is you have to have mental clarity. As you're calling someone, as you're doing what, some will be harsh. Now for you, your mood is going to be, you're going to call someone, you may land on a number of a certain Mchiga and you go and instead say Komanyoko, and you'll get off. Your mood should be, you say that when he says Komanyoko, you say thank you, and you continue. You don't just leave them and you continue. So, is there any of these nutrients we do not know? Which one? Which one? I can't hear you. Ginseng? Yes? Number 5. Really? We have never talked about this number 5. Who remembers? Who remembers? We have never talked about number 5. We have never talked about number 5. I'd promised ourselves that we should be stopping at 10:30, and I think we are on time. So, these nutrients make super focus incredible. Each of them, as they are, has a role it plays. Like we have already said, you're going to find out there in the market, you'll find someone who has a tin that has Bacopa alone selling it. Someone has B complex. It is there actually on the market, especially used in the other side of the synthetic drugs. We said it so many times. B complex alone. Ginseng, there are so many, I would call them brands, whether from China, Malaysia, Korea, of ginseng. Vitamin C. This one sounded so much during COVID. Everyone at least got to know vitamin C in COVID. Rhodiola, rosea. You're going to find someone selling that. That one is not common though. Green tea extract. This one everywhere, even in the supermarkets, it is there being sold. Now, if you were to buy all of those, number one, it is going to be costly for you. Number two, you're going to realize that if you're now going to, let's say if you're buying them in capsules, how many capsules are those? 6 capsules. There's, in the medical terms, there's what we call pill burden. Pill burden meaning that someone has too much to swallow at a go. Actually, this is also a tip for you, that if you have a client or a patient that you're going to give medication or supplements, consider that. Look out for those supplements matching the conditions and that they can handle multiple of the conditions, such that this person does not have so many things to swallow, because once they become so many, now they cause what we call a pill burden, and someone will get lazy for swallowing this. Has to look at probably maybe you're giving this to someone who already has other conditions. He has other like 3 or 4 tablets to swallow, and then you also want to add more 4. Then it becomes 8, and then this person will say, umanyi, loza kanjira ambireka. But if it is something like this that combines all these nutrients, then you only swallow in 1 or 2 a day, and that should be your selling point. Are we together? Yes. That should be your what? Your selling point. That you see, you're going to need ginseng somewhere. You're going to need vitamin C from somewhere. You're going to need green tea extract from somewhere. But this has all in one. Yeah? So it reduces the burden of you having to think about all these. Even where you're going to store them. Yeah? How you're going to store them, that one also becomes an issue. But someone works with only their one tin of super focus and maybe omega-3, and that is all. Other than having like 12 of tins in their bag. Yeah? Then, most importantly, is that also these nutrients work synergetically. We used that term some time ago. That one is going to help the other in some way. For example, the vitamin C is going to help all these other nutrients get absorbed very well. Leave alone its purpose, because vitamin C is good at boosting immunity. But as well, it can help on these other nutrients get absorbed. It can help on reducing oxidation. Yeah? So, vitamin B complex, it is going to help on these other ones being utilized in the body. You get it? So, leave alone its other roles. So, a combination of all of these is working together to achieve. Are we together? So, in conclusion, we have looked at everything. Yeah? It is important looking at nutrition, lifestyle, but most importantly, our product. That all that is mentioned above is not a mayor say. These are evidence-based. There are clinical trials that have been made, but also most of these things were used even before science existed. They were used before science existed by our grandfathers, and they lived healthier. They lived hundreds of years without any health complications. Most of them would only die in sleep. Someone is 105, they just sleep. In the morning they wake up and say, they go to wake them up to eat. They have gone to the road. And by the way, that is my wish to every one of us. And that is why actually I chose this profession. That I would wish you only go to bed, wake up in the morning and say, Ambrose has rested. No need of Smanya taking you to kidney transplant, Smanya dialysis, Smanya you need heart surgery, Smanya you on what kinds of drugs, Smanya hypertension, Smanya anti-cancer. Age up to your 100, go to bed with some cough. They go to wake you up for breakfast. They say you have rested. That is actually what you should always tell people who ask you. But all of us, we are going to die. Tell them that you can die, but you can die in pain. You can die in pain. You can leave everyone around you with a bad memory, with pain, you create a burden around the people because you are not healthy. I've interacted, I've had so many friends, I've had so many clients who have their parents or their relatives, brothers, siblings in the cancer institute there or at the heart institute. It is too much pain when they tell you need medicine for 3 million every day and you can't afford it. But your brother or your sister or your mother or your father is in pain. Actually, yourself, you're feeling that pain at that moment. It hits different. I wouldn't want anyone to experience that. And as we are in this industry of health and wellness, that should be our ultimate goal for ourselves and those that we are helping and those that we are taking the message of wellness and the products to them. So that when it comes to that end of our lives, we end, the journey should be that smooth. But like I said, in this modern world, to achieve that, you must know that we have ultimate responsibility towards ourselves. Tell those people that you meet your clients that it's not about just waking up and going to look for money and then go back and sleep. The fundamental of everything is our health, and our health are our bodies. Before you think about how you're going to take care of that business, how you're going to take care of, even if it is your spouse or your children, first think about how you are yourself. Before you think of giving that child of yours a posh life or anything, think about yourself. First, think about your health, and the rest will follow. I'll end by saying that every day we are meeting clients. Even today we are going to meet them. The world today where it is hard to find something genuine in all aspects, by the way. You wake up, you want to buy a phone, you're worried that you'll go and they will give you a fake phone, a copy. You wake up, you want to buy a shoe, you're worried that if you saw me putting on this, they're going to give you a copy of it. You wake up, you want to marry, you want to find a partner, you're worried that the one I'm going to take home is either going to like my nyash, or is going to just like my money, or because I dress a nice suit. You're worried. And so those are the worries that people have over the industry of wellness. Yeah? People have that much worry about wellness products. So please ensure in all that you do, package the information, package yourself as genuine. You know, something can be good, something can be real, but because of the package, and it will end up being looked at as fake. Whereas the fake, like the Chinese normally do, you find a fake version of the Chinese product looks nicer than the original. So take that serious. Yeah? Our products are good. They have been satisfied. They are from a good source, USA, where standards are a must. So help yourselves to package them well, package the information well to people. Try to find a different way of approach than what has been known of those that offer fake products. Thank you so much for being a good listening. I will